You just made the biggest mistake of your life, kid. Frank's voice was calm, almost too calm, as he rubbed his jaw where the biker's fist had landed seconds earlier. The bar went silent, the jukebox track ending in an awkward hush. The 83-year-old veteran sat back on his stool, eyes steady on the man who'd just punched him. A thick-armed biker with tattoos crawling up his neck and a smirk plastered across his face. "Old man," the biker said with a laugh, "you shouldn't bump into people who hit back." Before we move further into this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. Let's dive in. Frank didn't argue. He just reached into his jacket pocket and flipped open a beat-up old phone. His thumb pressed a single button. "It's me," he said softly. "I could use a hand." Then he closed it, set it on the bar, and went back to his drink like nothing had happened. The biker's laugh got louder. "What, calling the cops? Think they're going to come running for you?" He took another swig of beer, scanning the room for anyone who might back him up. No one moved. Even the bartender, a man who'd known Frank for decades, kept his distance, polishing a glass that was already spotless. Frank just shrugged, sipping from his glass of water. "Wasn't the cops I called." Minutes ticked by. At first, the biker stayed relaxed, leaning against the bar. But then came a low, distant rumble, a sound so deep you felt it in your chest before you heard it in your ears. The biker frowned. "What the hell is that?" The rumble grew into a roar. Glasses on the bar began to tremble. Then the light outside the dusty windows changed, washed in the glow of powerful headlights. A few patrons moved toward the windows, peeking through. "Oh, my God," one of them whispered. 4 camouflaged Humvees rolled into view, forming a wall across the front of the bar. The engines idled like restless beasts, and in seconds, uniformed soldiers spilled out, their boots hitting the pavement in sharp unison. Leading them was a tall, broad-shouldered man in fatigues who moved like he owned every inch of ground he stepped on. The bar door swung open with a metallic creak. The soldiers filed in behind him, their presence filling the space like a tidal wave. The commander's eyes locked on Frank instantly, and a smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "Sergeant Major," he said warmly, "heard you had a problem." Frank gestured casually toward the biker without even turning his head. "That's him." The commander's smile vanished as he took a slow, deliberate step toward the biker. "You hit this man?" The biker stood his ground, but his voice lacked the confidence it had moments ago. "He bumped into me." One of the soldiers stepped forward. "That man," he said, pointing to Frank, "is Sergeant Major Franklin Hayes. He's trained generations of soldiers, saved lives in 3 wars, and buried more friends than you'll ever have. The ground you're standing on, men like him earned it for you." The biker's smirk flickered. He tried to look tough, but the wall of soldiers behind the commander made that impossible. "Apologize," the commander said flatly. The biker glanced around the room, but no one offered him an escape. The patron's eyes were cold, the bartender's arms crossed tight. I'm sorry," the biker muttered. Frank turned then, looking the man directly in the eyes. "You're sorry because they showed up," he said evenly, "not because you hit me. There's a difference." The commander didn't take his eyes off the biker. "If you ever lay a hand on another veteran," he said, his voice low and steady, "we'll be back. And next time, it won't be for a conversation." With that, the soldiers turned and filed out, their boots striking in perfect rhythm. The commander gave Frank a firm handshake before following them. Outside, the Humvees roared to life, the convoy pulling away into the night, leaving the street as silent as it had been before. Inside, no one spoke. The biker stared at his drink, avoiding everyone's eyes. Frank took the last sip of his water, set the glass down, and stood. "See you around," he said casually before walking out into the cool night. On the sidewalk, the sound of the departing engines faded into the distance. Frank slid his hands into his jacket pockets and began the slow walk home, the faintest smile touching his lips. He hadn't raised his voice, he hadn't lifted a hand. But the message had been delivered loud and clear. Respect isn't something you can fake, and it's not something you can take away. You never know who you're dealing with. Some people carry more than memories, they carry a whole army behind them. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, Subscribe to the channel and let us know how you feel in the comments.